We ready? Don't tell me you're filming. Hi there, I'm Susan from Susan's Quarantine Kitchen. We are so thrilled to have you back for our third episode. This is getting fun and more wild every time. I mean, I'm telling you, that's what we do. We keep it wild and not real perfect. We keep it wild and not real perfect, see? Still getting that tagline down. Anyway, today it is so wild, I can't even begin to tell you. We have so much in store for you. 2 projects today. And you can find these ingredients outside in your yard. I am pretty sure. First, we're doing honey dandelion shortbread. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Did you even know that the dandelions are an edible plant? So not only are they great for your pollinators, and they're not a weed unless you think they are edible, and we're gonna put them in cookies, all right? The second thing we're gonna do is violet simple syrup. Now this is gorgeous. I've never done it before, but it's kind of the in thing to do right now with like quarantine cocktails and everything. So we're just gonna try and we're just gonna do our best. All right, so let's get started. Let's see what we have here in the corner. So we've got our basics for shortbread, which is sugar, flour, butter, vanilla salt. Then we've got your honey and Hornitos margarita mix, which is not part of the recipe either. I don't know who is putting it here. And then the pièce de résistance, the dandelion petals. How gorgeous is that? I'm gonna go rinse these right now. So here we go. Just gonna add a little water and rinse them out a little bit. They do get kind of sticky when you get them wet. And then we'll drain it a little bit. So don't worry if they get kind of all over you because they are a little bit sticky. Okay, so just like we normally do for shortbread, if you've made it before, this is no real issue. We're just gonna cream the butter with your sugar, which I have pre-measured in the interest of time. So here we go, use your mixer, clean or not. So this looks like about half a cup of loosely packed dandelion petals. And I would just like to give kudos to my son who estimated the number of dandelions. So we're just gonna pour that in there, and I am real curious to see if this makes them more yellow, kind of like when you rub it on your chin like we used to do in grade school. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna put in 1 tablespoon, just making sure, always double check, of honey. I'm just gonna estimate because that's how I do it now. You know, life's too short to measure everything. So we're gonna mix that up again, and then we're gonna add a little bit of vanilla here because we don't measure that either. Yeah, we're good. That just smells divine, and I don't know if it's the dandelion, but it's probably the vanilla, but my goodness, it is just yummy. Now I'm gonna add the 1/4 teaspoon salt. We're gonna add that in here with the flour. Now shortbread has very little sugar, so it's not super sweet, and I'm curious to see how this tastes with these petals, if that makes it any more savory. So we're gonna put this in now, just like you would a normal shortbread. Now we're gonna start that slow because last time it just jumped all over my face. I don't know if you remember, but it's worth watching. Now you'll see it's starting to come together. It's a real different kind of cookie dough. You know, son, we should have a playlist. We really should have a playlist for all those down moments when I'm not talking. Could you find something like Barry Manilow or something? Oh, you know what? Marge next door, she told me that we can't actually do that because the interweb, the YouTube says something about copyrighted music. So okay, so here we are, friends, and this doesn't look like it's gonna hold together, but I bet it will. So fingers crossed. We're gonna do what it says. Okay, so I'm just kind of squeezing it together just so I don't go crazy. When it says turn it out onto saran wrap, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna turn it out onto this silicone pad thing because I just love these. I highly recommend for your kitchen that you get a couple of these. They're just nice to save your counter a little bit. So I'm gonna work this dough together, and then I'm gonna do what it says, which is to put it in the saran wrap. I don't use much saran wrap because, you know, I am really an environmentalist at heart, and I'm trying to get away from using that. Let me show you what I use instead. So friends, I am not about product placements. I'm just gonna tell you what works for me, okay? So this is called Bees Wrap. It's made by hand up in Vermont. It's awesome. It comes in all different sizes and colors, and you can use it like saran wrap. So you can store your stuff in the fridge. You can put it around sandwiches. You can put it on top of your macaroni and cheese, which yes, we do make in this kitchen sometimes. And just instead of this. But for now, I'm gonna do what they say. So I'm gonna nicely, gently shape this dough, which feels so good right now. I'm gonna wrap it in here, and then I'm gonna roll it into a log, and I'll tell you why. Because then we're gonna be cutting it when it's cold again, and we're gonna make some little round discs. You could probably do any shape you wanted, but I think those are tried and true. Okay, we're gonna do our second one here. I told you I'm not perfect, I'm just doing my best. I prefer beeswax, bees wrap. This is real fun to play with. I mean, your kids, if you got toddlers, I would presume that you could just let them go crazy with this because there's no egg in there, you know, so why not? Dandelion Play-Doh. Okay, now these are gonna go back into the fridge for at least an hour. You could do it overnight. In the meantime, we're going to Violet syrup. Okay, this is the most exciting thing I think I've done in Quarantine Kitchen for a really long time. So as you saw in the other video, I went out and foraged these in my neighborhood. I chose a spot where I know they don't spray. It's kind of no man's land, and I felt pretty safe. What? It's not, computer's not working. Okay, you have to do the 1, 2, 3. You hit it the 3 times. The first one short and then the 2 long. Like boom, boom, boom. Did it start? Okay, I'll be there in a minute. So, so these are violets in water that we have put in the fridge. It says on the recipe to do it for 24 hours. I'm not going to tell you how many 24 hours that we had it in the kitchen and in the fridge, but I think that's just fine because it was in the fridge. So like, what can go wrong? Okay, so this is the, I guess it's called the Violet Infusion, which sounds real fancy. But what we're gonna do is see how much liquid we actually get from this once we take out with a fine meshed sieve. We're gonna see how much liquid we actually get. Oh, that is gorgeous. Look at that. Absolutely. Woo! Okay, so how much do we have there? We've got 2 cups, which means 4 cups of sugar. We're gonna put it on the stove and we're gonna warm it up until the sugar dissolves, but it's not gonna boil, okay? I am just so excited because this really looks like Kool-Aid, only it's natural. Again, this is from the common blue violet. There's a lot of different violets around. You wanna make sure, like I said, whew, that's a mountain. You wanna make sure that it's coming from a place that you know hasn't been salted too much. Like in my hometown, they do a lot of salting in the winter, or that's been sprayed. Yeah, hold on, I just gotta make a cup of coffee for this afternoon, that time of the day. Well, wait now, you did the tiny one. No, 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 we need the middle. I think we're done. I just wanted to do one more shout out for compost while we're waiting because that hasn't dissolved all the sugar. But this is just the best thing about compost is that these violets, they came from the earth. And I'm gonna put them in here with our coffee grounds and a little bit of bread and whatever else you have. And that's gonna go back into the earth. So we make a lot of compost here. I know there are some services that you can use, but it just feels good. Okay, well, we're definitely getting some color change, and if you add drop by drop or so some lemon juice, you're actually going to make it lighter. I don't think we're going to see the full effect until this is all dissolved and we have it in a glass jar. Okay, folks, let's see what color it is. It's going to be different probably every time. Now, this is lighter than I thought, but that is just fine. I can imagine that it's just going to taste delicious and probably smell a little bit like violet. All right, I'm going to add a little, this is just a taste test. It's still warm, so I added a little ice. Let me see what kind of flavor it brings. Well, that is interesting. Tastes real sweet. I'm gonna have to really think about that and see if it's floral. Okay, so we just had the greatest idea that you could make purple ice cubes that you could put in your mocktails, like your gin and tonics or whatever. I think it'll just be so pretty when you put it in the drink. Okay, so that is our experiment for today. Okay, we're back. Now, we're just gonna let that cool. It is just a gorgeous color. It's gonna even get a little bit lighter. These aren't gonna be exactly looking like every other one. I guess the word is uniform. I don't know what to do at the end, so maybe we'll just, well, look at that. There we go. Bonus cookie. I think the best thing to do is just to dip the one side. You could probably do two, but let's just do one side in the coarse sugar, just for a little bit more zing. So as you know, we get a lot of mail here at Susan's Quarantine Kitchen, and I have an email from my friend Catherine, and here's what she said. Dear Susan, my neighborhood is having a picnic in the Svensson's driveway. It's a covered dish party, and we will all be sitting 6 feet apart, but we will be passing food somehow with safety precautions. What do you recommend for dessert? So, because today's theme was all about foraging and nature and pollinators and wildlife, I'm gonna go with grasshopper bars. Now, if you don't know grasshopper bars, please know there are no grasshoppers that are hurt in the process, and I really don't know why they're called grasshopper bars, but chocolate mint, you can't go wrong. So, Catherine, that's what I recommend, and I will post that recipe for you in case you don't have it. Okay, so these are done. These are done because of my convect bake function. So you can take out your shortbread either when it's got a little bit of brown around it or when it's not brown at all. Here we go. Oh, absolutely perfection. Doo-doo-doo. Keeping it wild. These are dandelion cookies, everybody. Like, who would have thought? So that's pretty much it from Susan's Quarantine Kitchen. The only reason why I am not tasting my food right now is because I'm gluten-free. Don't know if you knew that, but I didn't use gluten-free flour. So I've left it for the children. But anyway, just, come back to Susan's next week where we keep it wild and not real perfect. And you know what? Just do your best. I'll see you next time.